Storyteller Robin Golinski with her observations and advice on parenting your children, who are now adults.
You know what no one ever talks about that I can see? No one ever talks about what it's like to parent adult children. You never stop being a parent, right? But they all love to talk about the pregnancy, the babies, the toddlers, even, big kids they'll talk about. But that's the cakewalk. It really is. I used to think teenage years were the hardest, but it's not. There's a developmental leap required of mothers that no one talks about that comes from when your child goes from a child to an adult. Now, I just said that as if it's, like a step in the process. Like, oh, yesterday they weren't walking. Today they took their steps. They're walking. Adulthood doesn't work like that. It's like this long, slow ramp. And it keeps going. And with boys, it can be for even longer. But I have girls. The best advice I can give you about raising adult children, or I shouldn't say raising, parenting adult children, is if you see something, say nothing. We all heard the terrorist, if you see something, say something about terrorists. Well, children are their own form of terrorists, okay? Because the definition of a terrorist is they do things that create fear in people. Well, children are very good at doing things that create nothing but sheer terror and fear in their mother. But the advice is different. If you see something, say nothing. It begins with those college years, right? They're not adults yet, but they think they are, and legally they are, but it's just means they can get into a whole lot more trouble. And you have a whole lot less influence over that. Best thing you can do in those years is keep your mouth shut. So you're going to have a teenager who can't wait to get away from you. And it is bittersweet. Part of you is sad that they've grown, and then part of you is like, what can I do with that room, that empty room, so that they don't come back? So you have mixed emotions. But when they go to college and then they come home for that first visit, often that's a rough visit because all of a sudden they know way more than you. Now, they always knew more than you, but they know way more than you now. In fact, you're a total idiot. Everything you're doing is wrong, and they're just fired up, probably with social causes and big, strong opinions about what's wrong with the world and how everything could be fixed if only we did this. It's best just to say nothing, because even if they say something very provocative and very disturbing to you, trust me, it'll change. It'll pass. So there's no point in getting yourself worked up about it. Now you get the kid launched, right? And they go out and they're now go through, I think they're between the ages of like 21, 22 to 26. Those are years a lot of people don't talk about, where they are all of a sudden faced with reality. Good old reality. All their opinions and stuff, all of their lip service about why don't you do it this way? They come to find out life is about sitting on hold, listening to bad music, then getting disconnected. It's about phone trees. It's about paperwork and forms. It's about bureaucracy and processes. All of these things that my daughter, when she was 17, told me was my lifestyle choice. I chose to sit on hold, but she wasn't going to choose that. Yeah, that was a funny moment. So now she's now in that world. And this is where, when I say if you see something, say nothing, this is where you have to control your laughter. You have to control your just smiling, because watching them with the shock and the horror of realizing what being an adult is, and it's not a temporary situation, it's permanent. You're now an adult from here till the end. And that is quite a shock. And a lot of young adults have a lot of trouble with that. And let's face it, we all know people who never grow up, right? They just never grow up. Best to say nothing and then have a laugh to yourself. Now we get to parenthood. When your child becomes a parent, that's some next level stuff. And we talk about it in a cheesy way. You know, we got plaques and buttons and all kinds of things for it, but it's a big deal. Whoever your child chooses to have a child with, you have to accept. They're now part of the family. See, I think it's a good idea to have arranged marriages. I now see the wisdom in that. As the control freak that I am, I would like to handpick that person. But I've been fortunate in that my daughter did pick somebody amazing. Thank God. But it's a crapshoot. You never know what you're going to get, right? And you have to say nothing. You have to say nothing. Because if you say something, you could destroy that relationship. So now my daughter has a baby. And now I'm in a new level, a brand new level of if you see something, say nothing. Because of course I am bursting at my seams with advice and insight and wisdom. And I just like I'm dying to share it. But I do it this much. You know, you got to think about it like a pinch of cayenne pepper in the recipe. Because too much says I know more than you, you don't know what you're doing, and it goes south quickly. It does not help the situation. So that's the best advice I can give you on parenting adult children. It's not easy, and it doesn't end.
Sage advice. Thank you, Robin. And thank you for staying with us for this episode of Local Matters. From all of us at PAC TV, have a happy and safe week. We will see you next time.